I've been waiting to do this for a long time. I should have did this a while ago. This is like another Ed Pearson story. And I'm going to upload this pretty quick. I might not do a lot of editing, but then again, I don't know. So, allergies bother me a little bit. So, there was a time, and I talked about this before, where, I didn't think I would have nothing to my dad. So, we were having a conversation. I don't normally do that, but I recorded a conversation about sundown towns that my dad was telling me about. Or we were talking about the difference between the North and the South, which was the hugest misconception. I seen some footage the other day where they talked about, somebody made a reference about Dr. King or whatever the case may be. And, you got a lot of people, especially I've been seeing it from a lot of these so-called Pan-African guys or whatever, and that's fine. But I've been seeing a lot of, and conservatives too. I've been seeing a lot of stuff talking about, him being a Fed and, he cheated on his wife or whatever. The FBI would have released that. They watched you. If they had anything to discredit you or whatever, we would have heard all those tapes by now. There's no reason to hold it no more. They tried to hit us with the I Have a Dream thing. When them reparation talks start coming out, yeah, that stuff, they've always had that stuff. But the media tried to sanitize him to make it look, they tried to make it seem like King was weak. He was far from it. You got to understand, King was trying to get permits. He was trying to get that iron. They denied him. He's not this so-called sanitized king that you think, just don't get that I Have a Dream thing twisted. He was measuring and using his words in a way where he knew that they couldn't take it out of context. So when he was breaking down the reparations, and he's sitting in front of a church, he's sitting in a church pew talking to a white news reporter. And if you listen to how he talks, he's using a lot of historical context with his words, and he was minding his words so they couldn't use it against him. And remember also, King copyrighted a lot of his stuff too. So they can't just take his stuff and then just use it how they want. They got to get permission, if y'all don't know that. So, but I've been seeing that over the past couple years. And the truth be told is, it was King and many other black American freedmen, and it was other people too, but primarily us, that made it. So all those folks that been saying that slick stuff about him, especially somebody that ain't from here, y'all got the red carpet treatment to come to this country. I'm talking about those specific people that's saying that. All the civil rights laws was all based off the work that people from that ilk did. Even some people that we may not agree with their measures, they were doing the work, they were in the movement, right? So you're getting benefits. DEI niggas or I'm talking about the people that benefit from that. All these DEI little groups, these little white liberal groups and these immigrants, y'all benefited from it. If you came here after 1960, you benefited from it. Because you couldn't build anything back at the crib. That's not up for my debated opinion. That's a fact. If you could have done that, you would have stayed where you're at. So you really don't have no room to criticize, to say anything about Dr. King, to be quite honest. He rolled out the red carpet for y'all. He made it possible so any business or anything you got, you still would have been stuck at home. You might have been colonized even more, or it might have been some genocide. Any of that stuff, that was stuff that our ancestors rolled out the red carpet. Now we got that out the way. All right, so I had a recording that me and my dad were kind of having a debate about, the North, the South, all that kind of stuff. He was educating me and letting me know, don't get the North confused. There's more law and order in the North, but more racism in the South. And he said most black folks didn't understand this. That blew me out the water.
People over here, and I'm talking about what they call gangs. The gangbangers, they're killing each other. Now what we do, just let the two gangs fight until they kill each other and then wipe them out, or we just come in and stop them? What do we do?
Here's another example: the demonstrations with Martin Luther King. They sprayed these people with water hoses, and they were demonstrating for their rights to end Jim Crow.
Here's what you're missing. you missed this because you weren't there. You weren't old enough to understand it. Dr. King started his program where?
Alabama.
In the South. How in the heck you gonna change a whole nation of people who think that they're better than others? Now look, this doesn't make everybody white now. That's where ignorance comes in. You look at a white man and you from prejudice because he's white, and you say, "Here's another guy hate me." How many white folks died for Dr. King program?
There was a lot of them.
A lot. In fact, I'll tell you what. Now listen to me good. If it wasn't for a lot of white folks coming forward, dying with Dr. King, in fact, Dr. King was just one man. But they killed far more white folks than they did black folks in Selma, Alabama, buddy. Did you know that?
No.
That's because you don't want to know it either. I mean, I'm talking to my son, but I'm going to tell you something. You need to talk to Robert Pearson. He's down in the South, he'll tell you. He'll tell you that way more white folks died than black folks. Because you know what? They realized that it wasn't right for them to raise hell just because somebody wanted to drink out of a water fountain. It doesn't make sense. Somebody just wanted to drink water and they say you can't drink because you're black and all that kind of crap. And guess what? Now, here's what Dr. King did. Because he was stupid. He went down south and convinced the white folks that they were wrong.
They were wrong.
Now, wait, let me finish. But here's the mistake he made. After he went south, then where did he go? Come on, talk to me. He went north. And I knew. No, he didn't go to Chicago. He went north, went to Memphis, Tennessee. And I knew he was going to get killed. You know why? Don't you know that the people in the South is not as prejudiced as the people in the North? Did you know that? I know a little bit more than you do because I'm older than you are. The people in the South, they'll call you a nigger. Stand on top of your feet and call you a nigger.
Let's talk sundown towns. As a black trucker, I'm gonna tell you my experience with these sundown towns. I don't eat nobody's food but my own food. I've been poisoned before out here in one of these sundown towns. I was sick for a week, like a dog. I had went in there, went to the diner, got something to eat, sick to the stomach. I couldn't hold nothing down for a whole week. Don't eat shit. Number two, always keep that. I don't give a if you a felon. You hear me? They don't care about you. The company don't care about you. So you better bring that shit with you. I hate when people are like, you're an amateur boxer. Boxing is a sport. We don't do that in the street. We don't do that. And there was a time I was in the sundown town. Somebody called me a when I was walking. This is all when I was a rookie. When I was walking across the street because I didn't know no better. I didn't stay in this truck. My dumb ass was exploring like a loser, like Dora. I'm out here walking around all these racist white people with all these American flags everywhere. Number one thing you need to do, stay your ass in the truck, get that concealed carry, and get the fuck out of there. Don't spend the night, drive 50 miles away. Find you a little warehouse or something to park at or something. You'll always find a warehouse anywhere. Fuck all of that. Hope that helps somebody out.
The people in the North, why would they call you a nigga in the North?
It was more behind the back.
No, I'm gonna tell you why. They can get sued. They can lose everything they got. The Northern folks won't stand for it. There's more law and order in the North, but there's more prejudice in the North than is in the South. And black folks don't know this. And you're too young to know it. Look, I lived in the South, Derek, all my life. When that white man called you a nigger, he meant it. And he wasn't calling you a nigger because of the fact that you're black. Now, that is why he called you a nigger. He called you a nigger because he wants you to feel that, he wants you to figure, hey, I'm better than you, and you're worse than I am, and it's not true, and he knows it's not true. You'd be surprised how many black folks in the South are respected by white folks. Let me ask you a question. You're in the field of making money, you need to understand this. Why do you think Michael Jordan is so popular?
The white people like him.
Why do you think they like him?
And I'm going to put the audio in here. Back to King, my point. When he went to Cicero, He says, I have never experienced such vicious attacks. And I've been to Alabama. He been all the most so-called worst racist spots.
Oh, I've been hit so many times, I'm immune to it.
How do you feel about this reception, sir?
Well, this is a terrible thing. I've been in many demonstrations all across the South, but I can say that I have never seen, even in Mississippi and Alabama, mobs as hostile and as hate-filled as I've seen here in Chicago.
But the march will go on anyway?
Oh, very definitely. We can't stop the march. We've been going on in a few minutes.
You feel you're in a close society, Dr. King, here in the Southwest side?
He said, these race soldiers up here something else. He said, man, this kind of brutality, he said, I haven't experienced nothing like this. That was in Chicago, Cicero. Because there was some black folks that bought some property. They went up there. So, you know, when the black folks came up here, see, what they try to do is they put it all on the southern states. Go look up a place called Cairo, Illinois. What did they do? They had Jim Crow up the yin yang. That was a very strategic place for the military. If y'all don't know, look up some of the massacres in Cairo, Illinois. Go look up what Cairo, Illinois looks like.
Of only 1,500, this abandoned city was once a thriving community. Now it's lifeless, full of abandoned schools, churches, houses, and cars. You may ask why. It's due to a very racist past and constant flooding. Some say Cairo was doomed to fail from the start. There are no more jobs, education is failing, and opportunity is gone.
Homes back in here. I mean, there were people that knew how to build here one day, I guarantee. Hey, how you doing this morning? Good. Hey, I tell you, we were just traveling across through here, and we saw this little community, and I thought, man, that's a pretty little place. What happened out here, you know? I mean, have you been here for a while?
About 30 years.
Have you?
Yeah.
Did the industry get killed where everybody is working out here? Has it been
Ain't none.
no jobs?
If you want to work, you're going to hit one of these bridges, buddy.
Yeah, you got to leave town, you're meaning.
Right.
It's really sad that there's not some really good paying jobs here, because this place is one of the neatest places I've been through at one time. I mean, all these are stick built homes, you know.
Hey, this is Millionaire Road right here, buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah, the number millionaires stabbing down through here.
Is it? I mean, look down the street right here, man. Look at them churches. But I guarantee you. These people built a lot of neat houses back at one time, and at one point in history. Look at that one right there. Look at the bones in that house right there. If anybody wants to buy a house, there's the first one you can buy. Boy, I'd invest in this place as long as it doesn't turn into a lake. Built by somebody that really knows how to build houses, and it was probably built right. And it's all the bones are there, you know. And then here you have this one right here with who knows? There might be people living in there, you know? Oh, gosh. And right next to this one right here that has so much potential. Look at that place. They're neat little homes.
So he was kind of hipping me to the game and letting me know, hey, man, they could get sued. They could get sued and lose everything they got, because the northern folks will be like, hey, you can't say the N word. We treat you like one, but don't say that. We could get, you know, versus the South. Now you got to keep in mind, he done went to the Korean War. He told me stories about when he came home and police, race soldiers just sitting outside, you know, him coming back off the train or whatever. They did it. They used to assault and attack black soldier men. Like, man, who you think you is? How dare you wear that military outfit? They felt like they done got uppity for protecting their ass here. You could go and look up situations. You could go and look up even the Civil War. That's why, see, all of these things that we're talking about in terms of Juneteenth, that's a day that we celebrate. But the culture comes from like the stuff my dad said, which a lot of those folks that's taking it and stripping it down like, oh, it's ours. Let's do a video and show change. Why didn't y'all show that? Why didn't y'all show the Civil War that helped black folks be free from black soldiers in the Civil War, saving the Union? We freed ourselves. There was no one from across the ocean that helped. They didn't do shit. Nothing. like Two-Time says, nothing. No salt, no sugar. They didn't do a damn thing. And it's not like they would have had a bunch of boats to go come help anyway. You know what I'm saying? That wasn't that situation. Everybody's colonized, but we were fighting over here. But they don't mention none of those people. They don't mention the Harlem Hellfighters or any of those people that rested on the back to try to have some kind of democracy for themselves. So that's why whenever you see somebody in comments or somebody saying, oh, you wear the flag or you have the flag. Hey, Grace Wisher. That's a sister that got that together. Ain't no way in hell, we got to use common sense now. Ain't no way in hell that she was just to help. She just assisted. I'm not stupid enough to believe that. And the simple fact, when people start talking about that, Frederick Douglass had a lot of, patriotism, and because he's like, okay, we built this is ours. There was nothing over there across the seas that was comparative to what we built here. Right? Now, people would say, well, you're celebrating the oppressors this and oppressors that. What, didn't the Roman name Africa? If you want to use the argument that, well, you're taking the oppressor's flag, don't nobody kiss more ass than somebody that's foreign to this country. Nobody kisses more ass than somebody that ain't from here that comes here. Nobody. Somebody can make the argument, well, we were an H-1B visa. We couldn't really do this. We had to just pretty much take this or take that or whatever. But we have a revolutionary spirit here that's unsurpassed anywhere else. And if that's not true, then go make another United States then if that's the case. If you're going to use the argument that we're super colonized and because we use the flag and our symbols or whatever, if you're going to try to say that, then you got to be able to say that you could build a duplicate. You got to be able to say that you could build a Jay-Z and a Nas and a Benjamin Banneker. Everybody after they were kidnapped and sold to the white folk and threw on the boat. You can't come back and say, well, y'all part of the pawn shop now. No. You can't disrespect and denigrate us at the same time and then say, well, okay, well, we're the same, but y'all are a little lower than us. Well, okay, well, did you build the same? Like they told Dame Dash, go build another Jay-Z. Yeah, build another Jay-Z. I'm saying if you're going to use that argument, y'all are lost. You don't have any culture. You're criminals. You don't know any of your history. If you're going to say that and use that, then build another Jay-Z. You can't come over here and fly your flag from a different country and then denigrate the culture that we built and say you're just some lost ass, no name ass niggas. And you're pretty much, in so many words, you're saying y'all are nothing. You're below us because we haven't been on the continent for 3 to 4, 5,000 years. Or, or 5, 6, 700 years, or, 300 to 500 years. You can't make that statement about us. That's an unfair statement. That's like going inside a Denny's talking about, man, this Denny's ain't shit, and you at White Castle. You got White Castle. How dare you? So he's letting me know, hey, look, there's a lot of places that's bad. He said, but some of the countries that I went, when my uncle said the same thing, but the countries that I went to, he said, man, these countries is something else, man. Some of them ain't got water. They ain't got, it's tough. It's tough. So colonization is global, but nobody has had such a revolutionary spirit to this degree, a long-term track record that created laws for other people to come and enjoy. So you can't point fingers and say, well, y'all got a bunch of, see, a lot of times what people do is they'll look at the rap and maybe the trap music and say, okay, y'all are criminals, y'all are garbage. Fix your problems. You can easily say that when you're back at the crib, wherever you're from. If you're one of those people that's making that statement, wherever your homeland is from, because you say we ain't got no homeland. You say, yes, y'all say that too. Y'all ain't got no history, no culture. Y'all ain't got no homeland. Y'all are lost. Y'all are some lost Africans. Y'all ain't Africans. Whatever you want to say. Then you have to be able to make another Jay-Z in order for us to qualify under that. And you gotta change the name now. You can't use the colonizers' names for your country. You can't do that. Just like if you say, well, we can't use the flag, that's the oppressor. All right, well then now you can't use the name that the British gave you. You see how that works? You see what I'm saying?
All right, y'all. I have been wanting some soul foods.
Now, with us saying that stuff, people would say, well, that's divisive. You said we have no culture. I wouldn't want to go to another place that ain't got no culture. You see what I'm saying? So, it's one of them things. But yeah, my pops, he would explain to us. And see, here's the thing. He would explain to us, and his ideal was this too. You got to look at it from this standpoint. Him coming from the Jim Crow South. He saw at a point, he did see like his grandmother have something, own acres of land in Mississippi. And then he's old school, and then he went to the war, so he had a military mind. So now, I told y'all about the argument where he had like the framers, not the framers, or he had like the founders on the wall. And my mom was like, man, them folks own slaves, get that off the wall. He come from the military, and then he's a lot older than my mom. So the conversation, it got heated. It did come off the wall. But now, we used to kind of joke on Abraham Lincoln. I always talk about this story. So me and my brother, we were kind of roasting. We just getting on his beard. Like we just roasting him. Like KFC face. Because, Abraham Lincoln and the KFC white dude had the same kind of, he looked. So we roasted him. My dad get mad. Like, man, he freed the slaves. Don't be roasting him. Now, we freed ourselves. He signed the paper. But that was to save the Union. That wasn't to really, really help us like that. You see what I'm saying? Nobody really, truly wanted us to be equal to them. So there's context. But my dad took offense to it because he's like, man, you freed the slaves. So, don't be making fun of them. So like, he was really mad about that. So, but at the same time, he's explaining the difference between the North-South when it comes to race soldiers. He's breaking that down. And he broke it down in a way that I can understand it. But at that point in time, I really didn't know. You see what I'm saying? So his philosophy, when he sees some nigga shit, he call it niggaism. Like if he seen some of this stuff on social media, if he was live today and he can see, get some nigga shit where you just like, man, what the hell is this? Is embarrassing.
Indians, black people, quote unquote black people, we was never slaves. We were prisoners of war, and we're currently still prisoners of war on our land. They went to...
He hated that stuff. So if he seen somebody doing he came up with this term called niggaism. And it wasn't like an Uncle Ruckus kind of thing, but if he seen some nigga shit, he called it out and be like, yeah, that's some usses. Or sometimes he used the term, yeah, you had it, like if he heard about something, and 9 times out of 10, it was some black folks that was doing whatever the action or behavior was. He'd be like, yeah, it had to be some darkies. I don't know where he said, yeah, it had to be some usses. He said it usses. Because he'd be like, oh, I know it's some niggas that did it. And it was. It fucking was. You know what I'm saying? It was a lot of times. It was some real ignorant nigga shit. Like, I can't. I simply cannot back what the issue was. It was unrefined. It was some ignorant ass shit. Ignorant as hell. It was unsophisticated, ignorant, ain't got a damn bit of sense, whatever it was. And I'm looking and I'm like, well, it is ignorant. You know what I'm saying? You can't look past it. You just can't. So he called it out. So he was a little jaded from the old generation coming into the new, because there's certain things in public that you just wouldn't do or say or behave, you know. So his ideology was, you know, a lot of the youth, you know, they lazy, they don't want to do nothing. Well, you know, shit, crack cocaine will do that to you. You know what I'm saying? Hell no, you ain't gonna want to work no job, man, if you can make $500 to $1,500 selling crack.
They were selling this stuff in South Central, which is, you know, predominantly black section of Los Angeles, immediately before the outbreak of the crack cocaine epidemic. They started selling powder, tons and tons and tons of powder cocaine were going into this one small area of the city. And from there, they sold it to Freeway Rick.
The general idea of the CIA dealing drugs was something that the American mainstream press had never written about before. And that's why it prompted outrage among black.
Yeah, and so, you know, I think he understood the youth, but then didn't. You know, hip hop and rap was just like, that wasn't music to him. He didn't look at that like as music. But then again, you got to think, with having a religious background, he's not really looking at a lot of blues and stuff like that too. Now, I'm quite sure he used to listen to it when he was younger, but I never really asked that question. He was an old school kind of dad. You really didn't get into those conversations unless you asked him. He may not have told you slavery wasn't really talked about. He talked about race soldiers. His idea of race was, I smile and grin in front of these white folks' faces so I could get a check for my family. So he was never oblivious to the fact of what was going on. But at the same time, he knew about race soldiers. It wasn't nothing he was denying. You see what I'm saying? He wasn't like this, man, ain't no racism, whatever like that. So, but he had a different framework and a level of thinking in terms of the racial hierarchy. So his idea was, if I got to tap dance for my family, I know what it is for the check. I'm not going to throw nobody black under the bus, but like, if I got to grin to feed them, I'm a grin. Now, there's certain things I'm not going to do, but if I got to grin a little bit, I'll grin. But I'm putting this frown on as soon as I clock out. As soon as I swipe that check card, I'm clocking out. I'm back to being Ed Pearson. You see what I'm saying? So, a lot of that probably could have came from the military. So his idea on, you know, waking up late, he just had no respect for anybody that was waking up past 6, 7 a.m. because he felt they were lazy. Your ass should get up. He didn't, you know, he would have never been able to work with like a keyboard, do none of the jobs and the stuff we do now to this day. He would have never been able to get with that because he always felt like a grown man, he ought to be working with his hands. You know what I'm saying? Like, technology's okay. Like, he did take me to try to go to Kinko's and stuff. Technology's fine. So he would have embraced it as so long as it gives him an opportunity to make more money. But the idea that a man is just laying up in the bed past 6, 7 o'clock, his respect level was just he was so jaded in that regard to where it just disgusted him. His attitude was, when that rooster crows, you should be up before the sun is up. That's how he thought. So if he did see somebody that's lazy, like, you know, some of these able-bodied folks, his thing was, hell, I've been shell-shocked from the Korean War. If you're a war vet, you shouldn't be out asking for no change. He never gave out no change to no homeless man. He thought they were the scum of the earth. He didn't even think they should be alive. He felt like they were just a waste of human space. We paying taxes and you're able-bodied and you ain't going around working or asking, picking up, doing something. A man with a can that's able-bodied, he just felt like he could have cared if you would have lived a DIE for all he cared. That was his attitude. His attitude was just like, you're trash. Especially if you collecting a government check and ain't doing shit. Asking for change as a grown man, he had no respect for you. He wouldn't, if you were to take, you remember Wildfire from the Game of Thrones? They could have set you on fire with Stannis' wildfire and he wouldn't piss on you to save you. Men like that, he just had no respect for them at all. Now, if you were disabled, that's a different ball game. But his ideology was his ideology was you on Maplewood PD. His ideology was you need to be working under no circumstance. So to a certain degree, the work ethic, it kind of helped me. Could I have been jaded on certain things? I probably could have. But that hustle, like when I talked about the early video with me and Stack, that's a lot of that I got it from. Seeing that hustle and that grind. I got up seeing, I was a young black boy that got up seeing my father get up and go to work. A lot of things didn't work out for him, but you got to think, he come from the Jim Crow era. He's born in the 1930s. He went to the Korean War. I think he lied to get in when he was young or something like that. He went to the military. So he was a big Kirby salesman going door to door and stuff like that. So he always had that kind of hustle. So, it kind of framed my independent thinking on how to go out and get it to a certain degree. I kind of watched him do that. I seen him make herbs and tinctures. You know, they wanted to give him that, what do they call that? The cancer treatment. He said, I ain't doing that shit. He went and got some herbs and went and copped the lawnmower and went to work. That he had cancer forever. They told him if he don't take it, he's going to be gone in like a year or whatever. He said, man, I ain't taking no damn chemo. He said, that shit going to make me worse. He probably knew people that took it, whatever the case may be. He went in there, started making some tinctures, had us pick dandelions, made him some dandelion tea, and he went to, I'm just telling you what he did. I'm not telling you what I think. I'm telling you what he did. And that man went out to work with, I don't know how long he had stage 3 or stage 4. I mean, he went to work as if, you know how the dude from Black Panther? That man had bad cancer and was out there doing Black Panther. He died a man. He said, I'm not laying around doing, man, I'm going to work. I'm going to die working. And he died working. He worked until the day he died, literally. They don't build people like that too much no more. So, you know, I used to see that. So, you know, when I was young, I didn't have a lot of excuses as a young guy as to why I couldn't go out and make it happen. You see, because I saw that. You know, some people, some young men, they don't get to see a man rule a house with an iron fist. So as I was younger, a lot of times I didn't like my dad because dad's the villain. Because dad is going to stand on business a lot of times and he ain't going to let you do what you want to do. You know what I'm saying? So of course dad's going to be the villain. So I felt like I didn't have the freedom I needed to have or whatever. But he was just trying to make sure, hey man, there's order. You're going to get up, you're going to go to school, you're going to do this, you're going to do that. You're going to follow orders. Now, the military stuff might have been a little bit too, but order. There's got to be some kind of code of conduct in the house. So I kind of understood that. But that's another Ed Pearson story or whatever. A little long, real long, but that's it.